WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Investigators positively identify a Monroe County man found shot to death in his backyard.
Monroe County Coroner Alan Gurley says he's confident that Stephen Huebner is the person found at a Buck Road home this past Friday. Huebner died of multiple gunshots. A complete autopsy is continuing at the state medical examiner's office in Pearl. Stephen Huebner's wife, Ellen, is charged with murder. She turned herself in to the Monroe County Sheriff's Department yesterday. She's been released on a $150,000 bond.
A Starkville man faces burglary and embezzlement charges. Monday, Starkville police arrested Terrell Ward. Investigators say the 35-year-old faces one count each on felony embezzlement and commercial burglary. Both incidents occurred at Curo Candles on Highway 12 in Starkville. If you have any information, you have to call Starkville police. Ward's bond was set at $20,000.
A traffic stop in Clay County leads to 2 drug arrests. Clay County deputies, along with the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics, made the stop on 6th Street in West Point. Inside the vehicles, investigators reportedly found 330 suspected ecstasy pills, some powder and fragments, and marijuana. Jamel Johnson is charged with trafficking MDMA, that is, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of marijuana. Tre'vell Gandy had an active warrant. He's also charged with possession of MDMA, possession of pot, as well as traffic violations. His bond is set at just over $6,000. Johnson's bond is set at $15,000, but he remains in jail on a hold from the Department of Corrections. The case is still under investigation.
Also in Clay County, a suspicious person call ends with a Cedar Bluff woman charged with possession of meth. Deputies responded to the call at the Love's truck stop in West Point. During the investigation, the K-9 unit found a small amount of suspected methamphetamine. Clay County Sheriff Eddie Scott says 27-year-old Megan Clark was arrested. Clark's bond is set at $5,000.
Elections for state and county offices are this year, and candidates will, of course, be asking for your vote.
But some Mississippians have lost the right to cast a ballot. WCBI's Stephanie Poole joins us live in the studio to explain why.
It's all about being convicted of a felony. If someone you know serves time for a serious charge in Mississippi, he or she will probably lose their voice in the government. And the only way to get that vote back is to go through Jackson.
Vote is one of the most important responsibilities we have as citizens. But in Mississippi, if you are convicted of a specific crime, you lose that right. In fact, there are 22 crimes that will strip you of your vote. Ike Brown knows that firsthand. In 1995, he lost his voting rights. Brown served time for voter fraud. But he asked state lawmakers to give him his vote. It's called an individual appeal, a bill introduced by his attorney and passed in Jackson. Brown can now vote again. These days, he works as a community activist in Noxubee County. He has helped several others go through the same process. Lowndes County Circuit Clerk Teresa Barksdale says to restore the right of suffrage, it begins with legislature.
You have to initiate that with someone in the legislature or the Senate. They have to be the one to introduce it as a bill in the House, and then it has to go through the House floor and has to be voted on by each office and then ultimately signed off by the governor.
Barksdale says in Lowndes County, she doesn't see many cases. If a person is convicted of a violent crime, his or her name is purged from the voter rolls. It's the same with arson and robbery, along with other financial crimes.
Predominantly, most of our crimes here in Lowndes County are drug-related.
And a person who has served time on a drug charge can still vote.
Teresa Barksdale says no one has been yet given back their right to vote since she's been in office.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. Time now to turn things over to meteorologist Jacob Dickey, who has a first look at our forecast.
Hey, Joey, had a nice sunset here under a cobalt blue sky. That sun setting off in the distance. Quiet weather. Nice to have here, even though, sure, it is a little bit cold outside. Temperature in Columbus at 39. When you have that northwest wind between 5 and 15 miles an hour, we look at the wind chill to see what it actually feels like out there. Feels like 32 in Columbus at this hour, 33 in West Point, down to 27 in Oxford. Corinth is at 25. This cool weather is going to stick around for about 24 to 36 more hours here, but we do get more sunshine. That sunshine going to continue through tomorrow. Tonight, look for lows down in the low 20s, bitter cold with light winds, warmer as we go through the week here. That also brings the chance for some stronger storms this weekend. I've got those details coming up in just a bit.
There will be at least 3 new state senators in North Mississippi next year. Republican Nikki Browning of Pontotoc, along with Russell Jolly of Houston and J.P. Wileman Jr. of Belmont, are all retiring. Jolly and Wileman are Democrats. Browning has served in the Senate the longest. He was first elected in 1996. The primary election to replace the men is August 6th.
Well, today kicks off the 2019 legislative session in the state of Alabama, and it is kicking off with Governor Kay Ivey and some other lawmakers pushing for a gas tax increase.
And that means you could pay 10 cents more at the pump. Our Jory Talley talks to businesses and drivers about the proposal and joins us in the studio with more.
If Governor Ivey's plan passes, the gas tax would be phased in over 3 years. In year 3, the gas tax would be 10 cents higher than it is right now for gasoline and diesel fuel. Ivey believes the full increase would bring in over $300 million, paving the way for smoother highways. There's talk of costs going up at the pump for Alabamians. Governor Kay Ivey is pushing a statewide 10-cent gas tax increase bill during this legislative session. The bill is already pumping up debate across the state. Eskridge Trucking in Vernon, Alabama hopes lawmakers will pump the brakes on this bill and look at the impacts it could have on businesses.
Our diesel fuel bill now is probably $15,000–$20,000 a month already. So that's, fuel is our biggest cost. Well, fuel and employee expense.
Dispatcher and Safety Director Mike Gideon says a gas tax hike could lead to higher prices in stores for shoppers.
Everything that's delivered to grocery stores or any merchandise sold is going to go up. It's going, and for people in rural areas like this, their income is kind of low anyway compared to most of the state, because everything they go to buy is going to be more expensive.
State leaders say money from the tax spike would spill over to improving roads and bridges across Alabama. It would also support improvements to the port in Mobile.
This is my opinion. I think maybe the big cities like Birmingham, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, Mobile, I'm just afraid that most of the money will go to those places and the Mobile docks and stuff like that. And even though they say the money's earmarked, I'm concerned about that too.
Susan Crotwell believes cranking up the cost on gas wouldn't roll over to where state leaders say it will.
I don't know what they do with it, but they haven't obviously been fixing the roads in Vernon already, so I just don't believe that's what they'll use it for.
Many drivers in Vernon agree. Even the Alabama Republican Party has officially rejected the idea. Some in Montgomery say the proposal is running on fumes.
Gas is too expensive already. It goes up and down for no reason at all that you can see. And if I'm going to buy gas, you can see I have a real small car, so I can drive 30 miles to another gas station. I can drive to Mississippi and buy gas if I have to, and I will.
Governor Kay Ivey will deliver the annual State of the State speech here at 6:30. Well, not here rather, but just here in a little bit at 6:30 at the state capitol.
A local manufacturer is looking to hire more than 24 people in a short amount of time. Airbus Helicopters in Lowndes County says they need aircraft technicians, inspectors, and engineers now. Airbus held a job fair today. Dozens came out for interviews. Vice President of Industry Mike Spears says Airbus is looking to add up to 40 full-time employees to the company. He says he hopes those hires happen within the next 90 days.
So you'll just look at me like we're having a conversation. First, Can you say your name and spell it for me?
My name is Mike Spears.
Guys, we're having some technical difficulties with that video. Airbus Helicopters employs about 23,000 people worldwide. If you're interested in applying, you can just visit airbus.com. Some Columbus students enjoy a little Fat Tuesday fun today.
We're going to take you to the celebration when we come back.
Welcome back. A 5K that took the place of Race for the Cure has provided hundreds of potentially life-saving tests to area residents. The second annual Hope Continues 5K raised $50,000 for mammograms and other medical tests for people in a 16-county area of northeast Mississippi. Now, the race began in 2017 after Coleman closed its Tupelo office, discontinuing the annual Race for the Cure. Hope Continues provided 239 diagnostic tests. Organizers say more sponsors help even more people.
We specifically want to reach out to business owners in the 16 counties of North Mississippi. It doesn't matter if you're a small family-owned agency, a business, or a large corporation. Anything that you can participate can help.
We audited those clinics this year to be sure that the money was allocated appropriately. And then we've refunded those clinics this year with actually more money. We were able to raise more money in the 2018 event.
Hope Continues 5K will take place the last Saturday in October.
Students at Annunciation Catholic School get in the spirit of Mardi Gras today. The school held its annual Mardi Gras parade this afternoon. This year's theme was Mardi Gras Roundup. 7th graders teamed up with kindergartners to lead the parade and pass out the traditional favorite, at least down in Mobile it is, moon pies and authentic beads from the streets of New Orleans. The moon pies symbolize the origins of Mardi Gras in Mobile, where the sweet treat is a favorite throw. I've caught a few down in Mobile. Teachers say they are getting the children ready for Ash Wednesday tomorrow, which marks the beginning of Lent, a time of reflection, prayer, and fasting.
Well, another weekend, another chance for some storms in our region here. Saturday, a slight risk for severe weather across the deep south. Coming up after the break, we'll talk about the warm up to spring and the storms we expect this weekend. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with meteorologist Jacob Dickey.
Some nice sunshine earlier today, leading with that clear sky and that sunset. Really nice colors out there across Columbus, downtown Louisville, Mississippi, even in Tupelo and in Vernon, Alabama, above Durham's Pharmacy. Temperatures across the board are in the upper 30s to low 40s. 39 in Columbus, Macon at 40. It's 43 down in Aliceville, 37 in Amory and in Tupelo. Oxford already down to 32. When you factor in those winds that we're still seeing out of the north today, wind chills are even lower than that. It feels like 32 at the 6 o'clock hour in Columbus, 30 in Tupelo. Corinth. Feels like 25 up there. Winter surely holding on for another day here. Tonight, temperatures will fall into the 20s by 6 a.m., cooling off under a clear sky. Winds should stay between 3 and 8 miles an hour overnight tonight. On the day, then, we go down to the low 20s here. 21 in Columbus, 21 in Louisville, 22 in Macon. This will be where we start the day on Wednesday. But with that wind, we keep talking about the wind chills here in early March. It will feel like 18 out the door in Columbus, 19 in Vernon, 20 in Kosciuszko, 19 in Winona as you head out Wednesday morning. Have to bundle up yet again. The good news, just a bit warmer as we get into Wednesday afternoon. I've got mid to upper 40s across the board here with lots of sunshine. North wind still sticking around, though. That Arctic air mass, the remnants of it, still getting us that cold air. 48 in Macon, Columbus, 46 in West Point. Been a while since we've seen some 50s on the board. 50 in Philadelphia and in DeKalb. West Alabama, mid to upper 40s. I've got 46 in Solagent. Vernon, 47. Reform at 48. Aliceville at 49. And then up by Tupelo, we've got 44 in town in Tupelo and in Amory. 43 Pontotoc and Oxford. Water Valley at 44 tomorrow afternoon. Finally, our high pressure is sliding off to the east there. As it does so, then Thursday, south flow returns, those southerly winds bringing back that spring warmth over time. Temperatures slowly climbing to the weekend. Mid to upper 50s on Thursday, 60s on Friday. Into the weekend, should see some 70s on the board in our area. With the spring warmth, we have to talk about the chance for some stronger storms in our area. Here comes a 1-2 system, some showers on Friday. Saturday, though, we'll have to watch to see some showers and thunderstorms that could be severe in our area. Already a level 2 slight risk on the board for all of us watching here tonight. That's for our entire area and really for a big chunk of the deep south. Main threats are going to be damaging winds and hail. Cannot rule out an isolated tornado. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. The other thing, though, more rain is on the way. 1 to 2 inches can be expected through Monday. A wet weekend yet again coming for us here. We've got time to finalize those details. Make sure you stay up to date online on your mobile app and here on WCBI News.
The quest for a state title continues on in Jackson. Highlights from this afternoon's games coming up next in sports.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Back-to-back regular season titles, back-to-back Final Four appearances, and the #1 seed in the SEC tournament. It's impossible to ignore the amount of success Mississippi State has found in recent years, including this one. But they say you're only as good as the company you keep. And Vic Schaefer and Tier McCowan are some phenomenal company to keep. Both have been awarded SEC honors. Schaefer named as SEC Coach of the Year and McCowan named as SEC Player of the Year. Schaefer joins an exclusive list to be awarded the honor 3 or more times. And McCowan is the first Bulldog to receive the honor since Altoya Thomas in 2003. Another tough matchup lies ahead tonight for the Bulldog men. One of 2 games left in the SEC regular season and a top 5 battle. MSU heads to Tennessee to take on the 5th-ranked Volunteers. Not only would this be a big win as we get closer to the big dance, but the Bulldogs are currently one of 5 teams with a 9-7 record in SEC play. So a 10th SEC win against a ranked team would be huge, but will be a challenge, especially for Mississippi State on the road.
There's a lot of good players in this league, as you pointed out, and a lot of, teams that have multiple really good players on our team, especially as you look at, the top of the league. I mean, you got a number of teams that do, but those 2 guys have been consistent. They've been very good here the last 2 years, and, they've got them in position to, have a second SEC championship with 2 games left. So they're playing for a lot.
Let's get to the hardwood. 2A girls state semifinals. Calhoun City facing off against West Lincoln. First quarter, West Lincoln came out ready to hoop. Megan Gerald dots Elizabeth Snogner in the corner for the J. West Lincoln leading early. The second quarter now, Wildcats ball to Ketrius Honey on the break finds a Jayla Mays for the layup. And the Wildcats only trailing by 1 point here. Then right before the half, Skylar Hall finds Caitlin Dickerson for the bank shot. The Wildcats would trail by 2 going into the break. Let's move it on to the fourth quarter. Wildcats down by 7. Conley Langford gives it to Quay Bailey, who makes it in the post, cutting into the lead. And down by 3, Honey at it again, puts up the last chance shot for the Cats. In and out, and it's no good. Calhoun City loses and finishes the season with a 30-2 record. The final 53-50 in this one. How about some boys action now? Ingomar taking on North Forest. The winner plays in the championship game. First quarter, North Forest gets the first points in the game. Dominique Moore pulls the deep 3. The Eagles leading here in this one early. Now, the second quarter, Falcons up by 1. Hunter Bynum hits a cutting Trent Bradley for the score. And Ingomar now leading by 3 points. Next Ingomar possession, Trent Bradley putting on the moves. Nathan Whedon in the corner, knocks it down, and the Falcons are up by 6. Then right before the half, Bradley drives and kicks to Brandon Keys, who penetrates and hits the baby pull-up off the glass. Ingomar leading by 8 at the half. And now in the fourth quarter, Ingomar up by 1 with 30 seconds left. Keelan Hall passes to Zach Sugars, who breaks the press and makes the layup to go up by 3. And Ingomar would advance in this one, the championship game, a final of 36-31. We'll have those highlights coming up later for you as well. That's it for sports. Your last look at your weather is coming up next. Stick with us.
7 days, 7 seasons, shall we call it there? Sunshine, winter on Wednesday.
It's about the size of it.
Warming up Thursday. Showers on Friday, looking mostly cloudy as that first quick clipper system moves on through. Saturday is the day we have to watch. Strong storms. Plenty of time, though. Enjoy the quiet weather, at least up until then. We'll keep our eyes on it. Of course, we'll keep you updated here with all of the latest developments on that.
We warm up next week, but should we still expect an Easter snap at some point before?
Blackberry winter, is that coming up soon?
Yeah. It
We'll
never
see.
fails. There's a frost right before Easter.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.